I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Shannon McMahon. So Shannon is 33 years old. Is a 33-year-old mother of a 12-year-old son. Shannon is currently a student at North Shore Community College, way to go, majoring in human services. She has a passion for helping others and is planning to transfer to Salem State University in order to pursue her bachelor's in social work. Shannon is actively involved in her recovery community. Shannon enjoys exercise and outdoors activities. Welcome, Shannon.
Good morning. My name is Shannon McMahon, and I first just want to thank you guys for this opportunity to share my story of survival and hope. Have you ever felt so isolated and alone, like there was no way out? I have felt like that for most of my life. I have a long history of receiving services through the Department of Mental Health dating back to my teenage years. I was introduced to DMH at around the age of 15 when I was experiencing some mental illness symptoms, including a suicide attempt at the age of 13. I was born in Stoneham to two loving parents, each who had some overwhelming struggles of their own. My father was a Vietnam veteran that suffered from PTSD and substance abuse, while my mother wrestled with untreated mental illnesses of her own. We were poor and it was a constant fight just to get by. From a very young age, I remember always feeling the heaviness of my parents' burdens weighing down on me. I blamed myself and somehow felt responsible. Since my suicide attempt, I had been in and out of various hospitals, and my aftercare always included ongoing therapy coupled with medications. At the age of 16, I got into a serious relationship which became very toxic and abusive and lasted almost 14 years. The man who became my abuser also became the father of my son. 1 in 3 women will have experienced physical violence by an intimate partner within their lifetime, and I became 1 in 3. I felt ashamed and angry at myself for ending up in this predicament and somehow felt responsible for his bad behavior. I felt so isolated and alone and would ask myself, how did I end up here? I also struggled with substance abuse, which started in my early teenage years. I knew no other way to escape the hell I found myself in other than to alter my mind with drugs and alcohol. I went through life always feeling like something was wrong with me, but the thought of telling anyone what I was dealing with was terrifying to me. So I continued to do what I knew best, which was to self-medicate to numb the painful truth of my reality. I felt so trapped. One thing I can say is that despite the years of physical abuse and drug addiction, I always remained connected to supports and services offered through DMH. Regardless of my life circumstances, I took comfort in knowing I had an outside support system of people to help me with things I needed, such as housing and food. The staff at Riverside, which is a program offered through DMH, gave me some sense of security that there were really people out there who cared about me and were genuinely rooting for my success. I did not have much family support, so having Riverside Community Care in my life became a blessing. At the age of 22, I became a mother. I was not equipped to take care of my son. I just could not see a way out of the insanity I was living in. I just kept going through the motions until things got so bad to the point that I was wanting to take my life yet again. I was living in a mental prison and didn't know it. I was terrified to even think about leaving my partner out of fear that he would kill me. At this point, it seemed easier just to do it myself, and in January of 2014, I attempted suicide again by ingesting all my prescription medication. I remember it like it was yesterday and could still hear the doctor saying how lucky I was to be alive, and there was no medical explanation as to why I was not brain dead. After surviving that ordeal, the Department of Children and Families stepped in and I lost custody of my son. I was too sick to care for him. It was at this very moment in my life that my recovery journey began. I finally started to gain some clarity. Finally, after years of abuse, I obtained a restraining order against my ex-partner, but that didn't stop him. He proceeded to violate over and over, winding him up in jail. The number one tactic he would use during our relationship was isolation, so him being locked up gave me the necessary separation to regain control over my life. My last treatment center was in Ashburnham, Mass. My caseworker at Riverside would come and visit me regularly with words of encouragement, reminding me how strong I was and that I could get better. It made me feel important that someone would go out of their way to visit me while I was in treatment, and I started to gain motivation that I could recover. On October 13th, 2014 is the day my new life began officially. I got sober and started fighting for custody of my son. I had so much support from the staff at Riverside. They continued to push me to fight and would even come to court with me. And in 2015, my son was awarded back into my custody permanently. My faith started to grow stronger, and I felt that things were really going to be okay. I realized that God had never left me, even through my most horrific experiences. He was right there by my side, protecting me. For the past 3 years, I have found a second home with my Christian Assembly Church family. I attend church regularly and serve in the children's ministry. The guidance and love I've received while being a part of this congregation is indescribable. I have also been working with an education specialist at Riverside named Danae, who introduced me to Dr. Margaret Figgins Hill, who runs the Women in Transition program out of North Shore Community College. This program has helped build the foundation of my education. After being out of school for so many years, just the thought of going back was almost too much for me to handle. But this program was designed for women just like myself to meet the needs who are interested in going back to school and can benefit from having the extra built-in supports to assist them in obtaining their degree. With the help of this program and all of the other supports I had in place, my confidence started to build, and I began to realize that I could achieve my goals and anything else I put my mind to. Today, my life is so different than it once was. For as long as I can remember, I had a negative tape playing in my head on repeat, telling me I was worthless, no good, and that I would have never amount to anything. Because of the positive relationships in my life, I now recognize those tapes as lies. I had people in my life that stepped up and gave me a voice when I couldn't speak for myself. For someone like me who was once so broken, the hopeful reinforcement was instrumental to me. As I stand here today, I am the mother of an amazingly brilliant boy. His name is Ryan. He's 12 years old and loves math and science. He's diagnosed with ADHD as well as a communication delay, which can be difficult at times, but we are tackling them together. I know that I am fully equipped today and can handle anything that comes my way. I am a student at North Shore Community College. I'm going into my 3rd year, and I'm proud to say I currently hold a 4.0 GPA. Without the supports of so many who believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself, I would not be where I am today. I believe the system has worked for me and has helped me shape me into the person I was always meant to be. I know God has a plan for me, and I've been learning to appreciate and enjoy the journey as I watch it unfold. Please continue to keep programs like these open, because by helping people like myself, you also help the families and loved ones of people who are in similar situations that I was once in. Programs like these didn't just give me my life back, but they gave my son a life of unlimited possibilities. Thank you for letting me share my story.